And welcome back to the second half of the Sideline Chat podcast, where we bring you your Betfred Super League debrief for rounds 19 and 20. And we start off this week with St. Helens going down in a shock loss to the Castleford Tigers, 20 points to 20.
Payback from the Challenge Cup finals, what I say, for Castleford's victory over St. Helens in a shock upset.
I'd definitely say it was a shock upset indeed. With the way the Tigers were playing, I think the left edge just absolutely went to work.
Yeah, St. Helens, they tried coming back, and I don't think they got the lead, but they were closer than Castleford, just out of nowhere, put on a brilliant performance and shocked everyone.
What really happened is it starts and it ends with Greg Eden, because his try levels the score up, and then he takes the lead. So it's 6-4 to Castleford in the half time. Right? Then you get Alex Wormsley crashing his way over. Then and Oliver Holmes, a couple of penalty goals from Danny Richardson on top of that. So it's 14 to 10. And then you think, never write off the Saints after Alex Wormsley crashes over. But then, final play, and this would have to be within the final 5 minutes. Saints trying to go right, looking, I don't know, either Nagama or Tommy Makinson, but out of nowhere, Greg Eden pops up. And it's goodnight, Irene.
Yes. Well, wouldn't have been Makinson, because Makinson got sent off. I don't know why. But yeah, Makinson got sent off, and Pete Matalia and Bentley got put in the sin bin all at the same time. So I don't know what happened there. I'd say there might have been a bit of a push and shove incident there. But yeah, Greg Eden put on a masterclass performance there, especially the last try with an intercept and length of the field, mind you.
The discipline of St. Helens just, I don't know where it went, because you rarely see Saints players being sent off effectively, being red carded like that. I mean, I can't remember the last time. Of course, James Bentley, most penalised, but we've got to remember we've got to be lenient with the case of James Bentley, considering he's only looking for match fitness. But I mean, I got to hand it to Castleford. They stood up here.
They definitely did. I thought St. Helens was going to definitely win by a fair way, but Castleford did stand up to the occasion and it paid off. I'd say with their sin binning of Makinson did help that little bit extra. There was a less
the
danger man
and the advantage for a one-man overlap. But I got to say, Greg Eden, he's been in and out of Castleford the last couple of years, but this performance he's put in, 2 tries, 208 running meters, 1 offload, and 3 tackle breaks.
Yeah. 208 meters, wow.
208 meters.
Unbelievable.
It is. It is. I mean, he's fallen down the pecking order, because, I mean, of course, Sasai Feki was meant to be Castleford's big marquee signing, and he has only played a handful, not even 1 Super League match. He's played 1 cup tie, not cited ever since, ongoing hamstring issues, so that's a little bit of money sitting in the salary cap. So you get the likes of Jordan Turner and Greg Eden come in, and while Eden back in the side, Turner and a bought over, and Castleford's left edge have enjoyed both of them. And Jordan Turner has probably been the Tigers' best buy. They've got the most out of him this season.
I completely agree. He's been really good for Castleford this year, and hopefully continue to do so for the remainder of the season, and who knows, hopefully into the playoffs.
Well, also, Castleford, it's looking a bit delicate for them at the moment with the Tigers, because of the logjam that's starting to build up. I mean, they're equal points. Well, not exactly equal points. They've got more points on the board than Hull FC, and 2 behind Leeds, but the win percentage is still against them. Mind you, it's only about, a 2.4% difference?
So that can be made up pretty quickly, depending if the results go their way or not.
It definitely depends on the results going their way. But the top 6 is not settled yet. I'd probably only say maybe Catalan, top of the table, is settled for the League Leader Shield with 6 rounds left to play.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Saints can pull off something extraordinary to pull off a second League Leader Shield in 3 years.
Well, like you said, you can never discount the Saints.
Never write them off.
Yeah, never write them off, yeah. Walmsley's try though, holy moly, quick tap, and he definitely did catch
Pulls the Tigers
by
defence
surprise.
down.
Yeah,
They should have been
caught-
watching.
Yeah,
One of the
they
best
should have
front
been.
rowers in England, if not one of the best front rowers in the world.
Yep, can't argue with that one.
I mean, it boggles the mind that they did not consider that Alex Walmsley could take a quick tap and just barrage his way through the line.
Yeah, well, see, they might have been thinking they might have been going for the penalty goal instead, but not the 4-pointer. That's what their mindset might have been on.
Meanwhile, from the south of France, the Catalan Dragons bounced back after that shock loss to that demolition at Saints by downing Hull FC 31-16. But it wasn't easy for them.
No, it definitely was not at all. They've done it a couple of times this season, Catalans. They haven't started straight at the blocks. They've eased into the game, and a couple of times they've come on in the last 20-15 minutes when I had to start coming back from not major score lines, but enough for them to be enough for us fans to get worried if they're going to get beaten or not.
The try they conceded, the first try with Beretta Faraimo, I believe, taking the lead early on for Hull FC, that probably wouldn't have been as bad. What would have been, actually, the second try Hull scored, but that try that Carlos Tumavave scored, where he pounces on a loose ball, all from the Dragons' left edge. I think it might have been Josh Drinkwater who threw that pass. But to let that go, for Tumavave to pounce on it, that's not what's going to please Steve McNamara. Alright, that they're throwing these balls that are getting intercepted, and you just can't counter it at the end of it.
Well, and they are going late at the field as well, so that also adds salt into the wind for that one. And
you just can't be doing that.
No, and
you look at the times Wigan and Warrington have met, and how Jake Marmo has made mincemeat out of the Wigan and left edge defensively and in attack because they tried to push a pass when they shouldn't have, and then he's been the beneficiary. I think, all 3 tries were basically long-range intercepts. It's when they downed them 40-14, and then again when they met Ed and Warrington won 21-8.
Yeah, I think so.
You can't do that.
No.
Absolutely no way you should be doing that, allowing long-range intercept tries to go against you.
No. It's spectacular to watch because you get to see some awesome foot races at times, but it's something, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, but it can every now and again, but not often as what it has been in some cases this year.
Of course, Os Catalan bounced back at the end of it all. Or both of the wingers going over for 3 tries between them, Tom Davies and, of course, Fuhad Yaha.
Yes, yet again. And Yaha, he got the ball down amongst, I think, 3 defenders. There's players all around him and still managed to get the ball down. And guess who kicked the drop goal?
James
Maloney.
Close range, too. He could have actually missed at that closer range.
It was very, very close. I think it was 10 metres out or something.
Yeah, I think maybe even
very
12.
Close.
And then just for Artio Morg, just make us really humiliating Hull FC, just allowing Julian Bousquet to crash over from close range.
Yeah.
And you would have thought, they could muscle up and not fall for what Artio Morg was selling. But alas, they did.
Yes. And it didn't pay well for them. But, yeah, Catalans yet again, victors.
Well, bounce back after a loss. That's always good to do it that way. Hey, especially now that they got reason to play with James Maloney recently announcing his retirement.
Yes. He's decided to hang up the boots at the end of the season. Hopefully, he'll be hoping he can steer Catalans to a title.
Super League title.
Yes, that one, Super League title.
Well, the season's still got a bit of a way to go. At the moment, And they're flying high. They lost twice all year, and they've kept the same side. And of course, they've got their opportunities where your Mathieu Laguerres, your Corentin Lacams, your Archio Morgs, and your Cesar Rouges can get some opportunities before the end of the season. And you think about Catalan's run home, and I think at this point, we're 6 weeks out. You've got to think about what's coming up in your run home, and we will get onto this, but for now, they face Warrington at the rivals round. Then they play Salford, Lee, St Helens at the Magic Weekend in Newcastle, Huddersfield, and the Wigan Warriors is away. So out of that, Warrington and Saints are probably the two biggest challenges they have to face right now. Wigan could be a game that goes either way, and as for Huddersfield, Lee, and Salford, they are 3 guaranteed wins right there for Steve McNamara's men.
Yes, that's a definite there. And like Catalan, in those guaranteed games that they guaranteed to win, they could rest some of their star players for the bigger games, and even in the playoff series. That's what I'd be doing, but who knows?
Well, they get the week off if they finish first or second, and when all is said and done, so they get that upside.
Yes, which is always a bonus. Well, it is a bonus in a way, then you've got like an extra week to repair, but it might not be a bonus in some way because they'll be more prepared, but they might be a bit more nervous heading into the match than what they would be if they didn't have the week off. But you never know.
Well, it's not all bad news for Hollis C at the moment. I mean, sure, they're in danger of falling out of the top 6, probably for the first time since early on in the season.
Yeah, they've been up there.
I mean, they're running 7th at the moment, and points differential, points into percentage is against them in contrast to the Leeds Rhinos and how they've been playing. But the word is that Jake Connor is not far away from returning to the field, maybe even for the whole derby that will be going on for rivals round, and we will touch more on that very shortly. But meantime, back in England, Salford come from an 8-6 deficit to end up winning 18-12 over the Huddersfield Giants.
One happy camper right here. I thought Salford were going to lose this match because of how well I know the Giants have been.
Salford would have lost this match.
Well, I knew the Giants have been inconsistent all year, but they have been the better side, obviously more often than what Salford have been. But somehow that came off.
There was plenty of ill discipline that was aging throughout at this match, and it just sort of slowed the game down with all the penalties that were being given away.
Yes.
I mean, Nathaniel Petteru on that's 4 offloads. I was about to say, surely not 4 penalties, but no, 4 offloads. But I'm looking at Salford just in the terms of penalties. Sam Luckley gives away a penalty. Tui Lolohea, that's 2 penalties he's given away. Josh Johnson, also 2 penalties. It all adds up with all these penalties that they've given away. And you just can't afford to do that. Joe Burgess makes 3 errors on his own.
Yeah. He's more than capable of not making 3 errors from one player. That's getting in the high range of errors. Like maybe 1 error is you could be a bit lenient, but 3, yeah, that's a bit of a worry. But well, he could have been having an off day.
From Salford's point of view, they definitely clicked in the gear in the second half with some beautiful I set up for, I believe it was Jack Ormondroyd and Tui Lolohea after Reece Williams scored first.
Yes, that is true. There was some beautiful work there. And then at the end of the game, there was sin bins or yellow cards.
Yeah, there was a scuffle right at the end of this, because why not?
Yeah. Greg Burke and Leroy Sujudo? Kujo, sorry for the pronunciations. But, yeah. Close game, I say that would have been frustration.
Oh, it would have been frustration. I mean, there were a lot of penalties. The game didn't necessarily flow the way the Giants would have liked it to flow, because I would have thought they could have exercised their big guns a bit more. All of your McGilvery's, your Jake Wall, or even give Will Price a little bit of room to move.
Yes, because they know what he's capable of in his short career. But yeah, no, I'd say Salford shut down. Well, not shut down,
But they
but
frustrated Huddersfield.
yes, and like the players you just mentioned, Wardle, Price, and the likes, they didn't really have a big game. So yeah, that could have been the difference.
Well, speaking of big games, Hull Kingston Rovers downing the Wigan Warriors 26-14. I gotta ask, what the hell went wrong for the Wigan Warriors in the opening half an hour? They've given away a 3-try lead just like that.
They definitely did. It was very unlike Wigan-like. Yes, I know that's been a bit touch and go as of late, but a 3-try lead in the first half, that ain't good if you're a top side.
I mean, granted, they fought their way back to make it 16-14 at half time, thanks to Jake Bibby, and then Liam Marshall's got some slick hands, and I think Liam Marshall diving for the corner the second time round. It was perfection.
It definitely was.
It was absolute perfection.
And his first one came from Ben Crook's error too. Like after the high ball, he couldn't quite take it, and Marshall ended up with the ball and got that one over. So that was his first one. Like the second one, he went over in the corner. So, and the pass to get the bullet pass, you could say, to Marshall to get his second try was pinpoint accurate.
Oh, it definitely was. That's what we like to see in rugby league. It's wingers defying gravity.
Yes.
To plant that ball down.
Yeah. Always love to see, regardless if it's over here in the NRL or over in the Super League, or anywhere around the world wherever rugby league is played.
I'll tell you what, Rowan Milnes had a standout game. Of course, Hull KR have been pulling off some of these incredible victories, and Jordan Abdul has not been a part of the side. But 1 try, 2 try assists, 51 running meters, and 3 tackle breaks for the Hull KR half. Standing, I should say, because he was standing in, playing alongside Brad Takarangi in the halves. They stood up.
It did, and it paid off. Temporary half
no Abdul,
combination.
No Mikey Lewis. And they stood strong. Especially against a good talent like Harry Smith, if he's still in the infancy of his career.
Yeah. For a temporary halves combination, they performed really, really well. And that's giving the coach good confidence, because if something like this has to happen again, he knows that they've got reliable players to fill them spots well.
I mean, I can't say what went wrong for Wigan. I mean, was it letting Albert Vete crash over the try line early? Was it the long-range breaks that I think led to Jez Litton's try? And for Rowan Milnes himself? I don't know what went wrong for Wigan there.
Well, me neither. But guess what? Another game, another couple sin bins.
Yeah, what is going on here? Where it's just players just spontaneously break out into a scuffle right on full time. What is it with this?
I don't know, just bring entertainment into the game. Like you had Parcell and Farrell, and then for a scuffle, then Takarani also went to the bin a bit earlier, so yeah. But it provides entertainment for the crowd, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you're thinking, why is it necessary like when it's on full time though?
Yeah, who knows?
Not me, but the players do, but not me.
Well, speaking of entertainment, the Leeds Rhinos running over the top of the Leeds Centurions, 46 points to 10.
We all knew where this was going to go.
Another ugly result for the Leeds Centurions, despite Matty G bagging the first try of the game. Oh no, it was Zane Tedepano, I beg your pardon. But from Lee being close early on, they just couldn't stop Leeds at all when they got rolling.
Yeah. That's what they've been struggling with all season long. It's their defence, and can't stop their opposition from scoring and keeping them down their own end of the field.
I mean, they even let someone like Robert Louis, who is in his mid-30s, He's late or beginning to reach his late 30s. He's not exactly the fittest bloke out on the field or there for Leeds, but he still he puts a chip up, he comes back down with it, and he still manages to wrong foot the Centurions' defence.
Yeah, that just shows where the Centurions are being in the story of their season.
I mean, you got Keenan Brand playing fullback. He's not really a fullback, he's more of a centre for Warrington, but most of the side is a little bit all over the place. Okay, so I would have thought Matty Russell would have been the more appropriate option at fullback for John Duffy's side. Oh no, wait, no, not John Duffy. Kurt Haggerty, sorry. Thinking wrong coach.
It's easy to do.
But where do the Leeds... Well, I mean, we all know where the Leeds Centurions need to go. They need to win. But this isn't working for them.
They haven't had a win all season.
No league wins, no cup wins. More than certain to get relegated at this point in time.
Yeah, they're definitely 6 weeks to go. I don't know how tough their draw is, but it's going to be a tough run to try and overtake who's in front of them at the moment.
I think, isn't it Huddersfield in front of them at the moment? And considering Salford and Wakefield both came up with those wins.
No, Wakefield's in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
Wakefield's in 11th, so...
Looking at the top 5 sides in the Championship at the moment, one of them will be there to become the 12th team in Super League. At the moment, you've got the two heavyweights, Toulouse Olympique and the Featherstone Rovers. Of course, Toulouse got unlucky in the run-up to the 2019 £1 million game, and Featherstone, and of course, were the runners-up to that game. Halifax, after their rebranding as the Halifax Panthers. Former Super League title champions, the Bradford Bulls running in 4th and the Batley Bulldogs in 5th. London just outside the top 5.
So it's still to play for in Championship as well.
Well, the way Toulouse have been going, and they have not had the best of time, considering the part-time Championship sides are forbidden to travel to France to play, so it's only been the professional sides that have been allowed, the full-time squads that have been allowed to travel across. But Toulouse have been doing very well, despite all these limitations, and not being able to play in France.
Yeah.
To be 11-0 from the potential games that they have been able to play, and for Bradford, who have had, just on the Bradford Bulls, who have had financial troubles ever since they lost their place in Super League 7 years ago, to now be running 4th in the table on a 10-5 record, or of course win and points percentage determining that, like in Super League. It could be a fairy tale comeback for Bradford if they do make it.
It could be a fairy tale. But imagine having 2 French teams in the Super League.
That would be the desired outcome for Toulouse to join Catalan in Super League.
Yeah.
So the French Rugby League derby. It could even be big enough to be played in Paris if they wanted to.
If they wanted to, yeah, it would be awesome to see a French derby between Toulouse and Catalans, and we'll see then who's definitely better side.
But
that's the matchup I'm waiting for.
To the Leeds Centurions, they're running. I mean, time is up for them. I'm sorry, there's no nice way of sugarcoating it. We all knew this was be a challenge, but even London back in 2019 didn't have this rough a time. I'm with it when the left edge is getting opened up and the right edge is getting opened up, and you get Tom Briscoe running in tries, Cameron Smith, Brad Dwyer. They should have really kept their eyes on Brad Dwyer, because I think most people would have guessed if there was a break in the lead defensive line, Brad Dwyer would have been running for it.
Definitely.
And he did. Brad Dwyer took advantage of the situation. He should jump from dummy half, pulled a Rob Borrow, and just ran a long way to score.
Yep. But yeah, we don't know where to now for league. We kind of said all about them all year.
Well,
there's really nothing else to say about them.
With Lee, at least, you can't say anything more about it. For Leeds, on the other hand, well, talk about hidden form at the right time, but it's not going to be an easy run home. Huddersfield Giants this Friday in the rivals round. Then they've got to play the Wigan Warriors at the DW Stadium. Wakefield away. to play Hull at the Magic Weekend. And how about this? The final 2 games of the season. Saints at St. Helens, and then Hull Kingston Rovers at home.
We've got a tough run of the leagues, Rhinos.
Well, the way Huddersfield have been playing, it's looking like a good win. Wakefield, Ild and Hull FC, I would think they would win those 2 clashes comfortably. Wigan and Saints would be challengers, and Hull KR could really be a toss of the coin.
Yeah, but you never know. 4 could swing around and they could be winning on a massive win run.
If they manage to beat Wigan or St. Helens before the regular season's done, I think they will definitely cement their place in the top 6.
Yeah, but let's see how it's a week-by-week process for the Rhinos for now.
Well, I have to do it because it would seem that Conrad Hurrell and Luke Gale are unlikely to play out the rest of the year after going down with injury, so that's a big blow for them. So we've got to keep that one in mind.
Yes, we have to. It's unfortunate that they're both out with injury, but you never know, they couldn't make a shock return early.
Now, final game of round 19, Wakefield starting out life under interim head coach Willie Coaching, and they beat the Warrington Wolves 28 points to 22. Now, this boggles my mind. If we thought Hull KR got out to an early lead against Wigan, then Wakefield have done the exact same thing. They're jumping out to a 3-0 lead before George Williams finally said enough was enough.
Yep. Another upset for the weekend. Like Castleford being St. Helens, this one was an upset. I did not see this one coming. When I saw the result, I thought,
you had to blink twice. You honestly had to blink twice to think, wait, did Wakefield actually beat Warrington?
Yeah.
At this stage of the season, with the Wolves been amongst the top 3 sides?
Yeah. No, I literally had to see it twice to see if I was reading the right W. And I did read it right.
Of course, Tom Johnston, and long-range effort from him, and you can't stop him, can you?
No.
I mean, he hasn't had the best year because he's been out for most of the time, but once he gets into it, just watch him fly, man.
Yeah. And like you said, Wakefield went out to a 3-0 try lead 56 minutes before George Williams crashed over for the Wolves. That's unheard of for the Wolves. They're actually scoring within the first 6 minutes.
But I think they would have been genuinely shocked that Wakefield got out to that lead. I think, especially when they let Lee Kershaw run a length of the field intercept try, or he's pounced on a loose ball, that Warrington were in free fall until George Williams pulled it back.
Yeah.
And then even with the right edge of Warrington going after Wakefield late, it was just not enough.
And you also had Dave Fafito too strong and too big to the close range to score his try. You had to try and stop a man like David Fafita. And Warrington should have been able to do that, but they didn't. So something wasn't right there.
Well, that definitely wasn't. And I think that would have been a big confidence booster for the Trinity. Whether it does them any good, if they can back it up, that's the big question right now. Can Wakefield go on a bit of a run here? Just to try. I mean, they're guaranteed to avoid relegation, only just.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
No, it's not over.
It is
Still
not over yet.
No. Like I said, still 6 weeks to go.
But for Warrington, they need a reality check. Well, this was their reality check. Now they're ready to go on with it.
Well, you think so, and you hope so.
And that's a perfect segue, because now we are up to round 20, and it is the first ever Betfred Super League Rivals round. And we start off at Emerald Headingley Stadium between the Leeds Rhinos and the Huddersfield Giants.
This one could go either way. Rivals round sounds like a bloody good thing that I think the NRL should adapt to.
Well, we sort of do to an extent.
True. But not as... Yeah. But Rivals round, this will cause some
Well,
massive...
we did take the Magic Weekend concept from them, so it's not Not the first thing we've taken from Super League.
Well, no. But this rivals round thing, I am really looking forward to some of these matches and see who comes out on top.
Well,
There's
as I mentioned earlier, because we do have somewhere where we can find the Super League squads before they're actually announced. Of course, the big thing will be that Luke Gale won't play for the rest of the year. I believe it is. Conrad Hurrell has been named in the 21-man squad, but I would doubt he actually plays. So my early prediction is Luke Briscoe will start in the centres, or Tom Briscoe will shift into the centres, but Briscoe out onto the wing, and Callum McClelland will start at scrum half for Richard Agar's side.
And you're probably more likely going to be right.
And the good news for Huddersfield is Lee Gaskell is back in the lineup, so he'll probably take his place in the halves and push Oliver Wilson out, as they're probably going to persist with Will Price at scrum half.
I'd say so.
And there's also no Ricky Lutelli from the last time out, so expect Lewis Senior to get another run, or even Ollie Ashall-Bott. Well, given that Huddersfield lost to Salford just recently, can anyone say with a definite that they are a chance against what is a weakened Leeds Rhinos side?
Well, you never know, because this is rivals round, as you mentioned. There's going to be a lot of, I would say a lot of, not carnage, but a lot of push and shove across all the matches this week. Purely because it's rivals, and, you know, rivals, you see frustrations, you see everything happen and all that stuff, so, yeah.
But I'm not completely convinced that the Huddersfield Giants, after that performance they put in, and neither would Ian Watson be. I would be going after Robert Louis, because of his match fitness. I would think he would be a target on that right side. I have the likes of Wardle, Gaskell, and I would probably think more than likely, considering that there is no Darnell McIntosh, Lewis Senior, to try and go at Robert Louis. But apart from that, I don't see a way Huddersfield can overcome this Leeds Rhino side, especially with the way you get Harry Newman coming back in and he makes an immediate difference to that right edge of the Leeds Rhino. So I got to say Leeds win this one 1-12.
I'm going the opposite. Rival rounds, it's going to really amp up the intensity of matches. I'm going to say Huddersfield 1-12.
You're going for an upset at this point in time.
Yes. It's rivals round. Anything can happen.
All right. Now, the main game that will be shown on Sky Sports, we have the Warrington Wolves playing host to the Catalan and Dragons. Oh, now this is going to be one of those. Half of the fixtures here, no one's going to really give a care about, unless you support the club. But the three that will take the spotlight, this is one of these spots right here, one of these games. And we've got to remember, Warrington is one of only 3 teams who have beaten the Catalan Dragons this year. One of 2, my bad. One of 2 that they have beaten this year.
True. But Warrington would be shocked after
I would be looking for
loss.
a reaction from the Warrington Wolves after letting Wakefield jump up early on them.
Yeah.
And the good news is Jack Hughes is back in the lineup, so I would suspect Connor Wrench drops out and Toby King goes back to left centre position. And so I think Wakefield went after Toby King in that game, and I think Steve Price won't be looking to make the same mistake twice.
You wouldn't think so. Like a coach, you learn from your errors. But Catalans, like we said earlier, they've only had 1 loss, 2 losses?
2 games they've lost all year.
Yeah. So they've been one of the form teams in the comp this year.
I think they've been the gold standard. Never mind St Helens, the reigning champions. Never mind the Wigan Warriors, because Wigan have had injury issues as well as bad form. And so I would say Catalan is the benchmark. And if Warrington can knock them off again, and they're coming. They could easily come for the League Leader Shield, especially with the boost that George Williams brings and the running start they're going to have going into 2022.
I don't think Catalan's the one to lose to Warrington twice in the season.
Well, we're about to find out how this is going to go down. I think Catalan got to know they got to expect a reaction from the Warrington Wolves, because Warrington weren't expected to go down to Wakefield, and Catalan, and of course, were expected to beat Hull FC, which they did, which they have done so. I'm going to back Warrington 1-12 here. I think they will go after James Maloney, because he has been known to give away a lot of penalties and make a couple of errors in his game. So if they frustrate Maloney down that right-hand channel using Toby King, Ben Curry, and Tom Lynham, Warrington will go a long way to win.
Nah, I'm going to go Catalans 1-12. So I'd say that because Catalans will be hungry to not go and lose again to Warrington in the season. And the form that they're in.
Oh, definitely. They're both very good sides. We're in for these 3 games we're talking about. Warrington Catalan is one. Now here's the second one we're going to talk about. The second grand final rematch all year, believe it or not. The Wigan Warriors playing host to St Helens at the DW Stadium. And good news for Wigan is John Bateman will be back in the lineup. And as well as a couple of others that I might not have been able to think off the top of my head, but John Bateman coming back in is a big boost for Adrian Lamb.
It definitely is, and what a good time for him to come back against your rival, St Helens.
But the bad news for Saints is that Tommy Makinson will be ruled out for the next 2 matches after that incident in where he got red carded. But you look at St Helens, Makinson goes out, and all of a sudden you get Jack Wellesby jumping straight into the back line. So how much of a luxury is that for Christian Wolf, that even though your best try scorer goes down, your best young product then comes along and just like, all right, Jack, right wing, you're going to be playing outside Kevin Nagama.
Yeah. No, the luxury of St Helens have is they've got a lot of depth across their whole squad. And one player like Makinson being out, they've got the, like I said, luxury to slot someone straight in straight away.
It definitely is, and you would not leave Jack Wellesby out. No way. And considering that Lachlan Coote is going to be leaving, this is just going to, again, like I said, running start. So he's going to be handed the number 1 jumper next year. Nothing shorter.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So you're looking at a back 5 next year. Wellesby, Makinson, Topawati, Mark Percival, and Regan Grace.
Good strong back line there.
Yes, but well, with Regan Grace, he's been in and out with injury as well, whereas of course Wellesby has come in. Well, this is going to be I think they'll be looking at the tape of Wigan against Hull KR, the Saints will, and they know they can take Wigan on down their left edge after it was opened up against Hull KR, and I think Jack Wellesby will be on the end of some good play between himself, Lewis Dodd, and Kevin Nagama. Just trying to think how I'm going to see this through here. This could go either way. I will say this. This is a game that could easily go either way. Especially if the Wigan Warriors can get some confidence back in after being knocked off by a top 6 contender.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I'm gonna give the edge back to St Helens, 1-12. I think they will find a way to overcome the Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. St Helens 1-12. They'll just be the better side.
But it's still, the treats just keep on rolling, because don't die of shock when I tell you this, but finally, we will get a Hull derby this year from the MKM Stadium, midnight on Sunday, August 22nd, in Australian time. Hull FC will play Hull Kingston Rovers for the very first time, and the word is they expect Jake Connor to play.
Finally, we get to see the Hull derby. Earlier in the year, I was looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to the Hull derby
I
for
would
a
anticipate
long
there'd
time.
be 20,000 people there at the MKM Stadium, ready for this clash.
Easy. It'll be a sellout like in the blink of an eye. It's that much anticipation in this game. Sorry,
but there definitely will be. I'm looking forward to a good old-fashioned Hull derby. Of course, the last time we did see a Hull derby was at the back end of 2020 when Jake Connor was beginning to find his feet at fullback and was just flexing that muscle that Hull FC had developed after losing Lee Radford before the shutdown, and just Andy Last coming in, and just Hull really just getting on a good roll.
Yes. This one though, who knows what's going to happen? And if Jake Connor's coming back, or like with someone, John Bateman coming back, good time to come back against your rival. The intensity of this game is going to be through the roof.
It definitely will be.
Every tackle will be hard and physical.
I would expect that, and not that we're encouraging any violence, but we all know what the reality with rugby league is. They can't help themselves.
No. There's definitely going to be a lot of push and shove in this game. I'm going to say at least 4 push and shoves. At least 4 push and shoves. So
you're calling for all times players come together?
Yes, at least.
Yep. All right. Feeling confident on that?
Yep. It's a derby. What do you expect?
All right. Final or prediction. Where do you see this one going?
I honestly do not know. Someone will win. But who?
Well, that helps. It's a good start.
But, there's a big but. I can't decide. So, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to pick a draw. If that's allowed. If that's allowed.
Well, on the Our League app, they do allow draws to be predicted.
Yep. I'm going to predict a draw. It's not going to... I'll say there's going to be a winner, but I'm going to pick a draw.
Well, I'm actually going to make a decision, and given from what I have seen and the way Hull KR are playing, I can't go past them to get a win in this derby for a while. I'm going to say Hull Kingston Rovers win 1-12.
Fair enough. It's going to be in a 1-12 bracket, whoever wins. Like,
oh, it will be.
Well, I predicted a draw, but either way with you, it's going to be 1-12. Well, anyway.
Yeah. And the last 2 games, first off, we have the Castleford Tigers playing host to Wakefield Trinity at the Menderhouse Jungle.
Well, Castleford will be full of confidence coming off the win over St. Helens. It's same with Wakefield coming off the win with Warrington.
Oh, that'll do massive things for the Tigers' confidence after knocking off the reigning champions, so to speak.
Yeah, it's same with Wakefield knocking off a top team like Warrington.
For the Adam Wateni trophy, Castleford had a good run of form over Wakefield in the past. Can't remember the last time Trinity actually downed the Castleford Tigers.
It's a hard match to pick. A lot of these games are very hard to pick.
Well, they're going to be played in close quarters. On the most part.
Yeah.
I would think with Castleford's left edge, the way they're going at the moment, I mean, of course, there's no Jake Truman. The way Danny Richardson has come back in and put on a massive clinic against the Saints, I would expect him to do the same. I don't think, unlike the previous 3 games we talked about, previous 4 games, I think Castleford run away with this one. I think they run out 13+ victors.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say Wakefield will win, but in a 1-12 margin. I reckon their confidence will be... I know Tigers' confidence will be high, but I've got a feeling Wakefield's confidence will be higher than what the Castleford's have been. So that's why I'm picking Wakefield to win in a 1-12 margin.
Alright, fair enough. And finally, the last game of the Rivals round, the Lee Centurions hosting the Salford Red Devils. We both know where this one's going to go, right?
Salford 13+.
The one time Salford will be guaranteed back-to-back wins. Because
Full of confidence.
The way the Leeds Centurions have been playing, it's just unfortunate that the way their whole season is gone. But you can't ignore reality of what has been happening.
But you never know. Salford might have a very, very off day, and the Centurions might win. But the chance of it happening...
If you define your off day as calling it 2021 season and performances to this point...
Well, yeah.
No. I don't see it happening. I think you expect intensity in patches from the Leeds Centurions, but they always get overwhelmed at the end of it all. I think Salford, they'll start fast and they'll finish fast.
Yeah. For the second time this season, that Salford could go back-to-back victories that I'm aware of.
There's no other way to see it. For me, I will stand on Salford winning 13 points and more.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. Not being biased at all.
Yeah, not being biased for a first-time Salford supporter.
No, but like coming up against the Centurions, like we know what their season's been like all year, so it's kind of given this one. Probably the easiest game to select all around.
Let's just hope that doesn't come back to bite us.
Well,
all right. Yeah. Well, that is full time from us. If you liked either this part or part one of the Sideline Chat podcast, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you never miss a week of rugby league action. Hope you enjoy the fixtures of the NRL going on tonight, and hope you get settled in for the Rivals round coming up on Friday. And we'll be back next week. Along with Mark Henry, I am Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. See you next week.
See yous.